So you want to live in the Middle Ages. Maybe you watched a movie, read a fantasy novel, saw a knight in shining armor and thought, yeah, that's the life. Well, buckle in, because what you're about to step into is not a fairy tale. Tonight, we're not sugarcoating history. No romanticized jousts, no noble banquets, just a full, unfiltered day in the life of someone unfortunate enough to be alive between the 5th and 15th centuries. And spoiler, it sucks. Let's begin. You wake up coughing because the air is thick with smoke from last night's fire. There's no chimney, just a hole in the roof. You're lying on a straw mattress crawling with fleas. It smells like wet goat because a goat slept next to you. Probably peed. You're not sure. You just know you itch in places you didn't know you had. You roll over and make eye contact with your cousin. He sleeps next to you. He's 34, missing 3 teeth, and you share a blanket. Family bonding. There's no such thing as privacy. One room, dirt floor, no windows, no locks, no peace. Outside, the rooster crows. It's not your rooster. It's your lord's. Your job, feed it. The sun isn't up yet, but your day is already behind schedule. Oversleep? That could be half your bread gone. You rise, scratch your scalp, and start mentally counting how many days it's been since you bathed. The number isn't 0. It's not single digits either. And your feet? They're cold. Always. You slept in your one pair of threadbare wool socks. They're soaked, not from rain, from your brother's foot sweat. You pretend not to notice. You reach for your only tunic. It's stiff, dried. Something coats the collar. You sniff. Bad idea. But you put it on anyway, because you have no choice. Modern bathrooms? Forget them. You need to relieve yourself. Hope you like squatting behind the barn. In winter? Congratulations. It's an ice sculpture. If you live in a town, you have options, like a bucket in your house. When it's full, dump it into the street, preferably not on your neighbor. But no promises. Some cities have public latrines, which is code for 10 people on a wooden bench with holes. No privacy, no flushing, just echoes. You wipe with whatever you can find. A rag, a leaf, your hand. Shake hands with anyone lately? You shouldn't. If you're in a castle, better, right? Not really. There might be a garderobe, a hole in the stone wall dropping your waist into the moat. A moat that, by the way, already smells like sin and screams. That moat? It's your defense and your dump. And yes, invading soldiers sometimes climbed up those holes to sneak in. That's how bad castle plumbing was. It doubled as a security risk. Toileting is not just unpleasant, it's communal shame. And if you have digestive issues, congratulations. That's how your neighbor finds out what you ate. Your first meal is pottage. Again, always pottage. It's a gluey soup made of barley, old onions, maybe a bone, if you're fancy. It's been cooking all week. You just keep adding stuff to it. It's less food, more ecosystem. You eat it with a wooden spoon. No forks. Bread? Hard as stone. Ale? Yep. Even the kids drink it. Water is deadly. Protein? Rare. Meat? Once a month if you're lucky. Cheese? Sometimes. Eggs? Not unless your chickens are feeling generous. Spices? Dream on. Pepper costs more than your house. Salt is locked away like treasure. That lump in the stew could be a bean, could be a bug. You chew, hope for the best, and move on. You work from sunrise to sunset, 6 days a week. Your boss? A guy with a title and a sword who owns everything you touch. You plow fields, haul water, gather firewood, care for animals, make repairs, and if you stop, you don't eat. There's no insurance, no retirement. If you break your leg, that's just how you walk now, until you die. Children work too. As soon as they can carry things, they do. No school, no toys, just labor. If they survive infancy, and if you're not a farmer, maybe you're a blacksmith, a tanner, a washerwoman. The pay? Survival. The perks? Respiratory issues and early death. You're surrounded by filth, open sewage, rotting food, vermin. Bathing is rare. Maybe once a year. People think it makes you sick. Irony. Toothaches untreated, wounds infected, doctors don't exist. Barbers do it all, haircuts and amputations with the same tools. The plague? It's coming. It'll wipe out half the population. You included, probably. And no, the priest can't save you. He's already dead. The cure for a headache? Drilling a hole in your skull? Really, it's called trepanation. Common cold? Must be bad blood. Let's drain some. You might not even die of disease. Maybe it's childbirth, or an infected scratch, or bread made with hallucinogenic fungus. Life expectancy? Low. Your odds? Lower. You've survived the day. Barely. You eat another bowl of pottage. Maybe there's a turnip this time. Luxury. You gather around the fire with your family. You scratch. You pray. You sleep. The straw is still itchy. The goat is still here, and your cousin's breath could melt iron. You close your eyes. You'll do it all again tomorrow, if you're lucky. So, still want to live in the Middle Ages? Life back then wasn't just hard. It was survival on nightmare mode. Every single day. Next time your Wi-Fi's down or your oat milk's out, remember, at least you're not pooping in a bucket and hoping your soup doesn't bite back. Thanks for watching. Stay warm, stay dry, and whatever you do, don't time travel. It's Sunday, your only day off. And by off, we mean forced into hours of standing, kneeling, and pretending you understand Latin. The church is cold. The pews don't exist. You stand. The priest's sermon is about sin. Spoiler, you're always guilty of what? Breathing too loud, thinking impure thoughts, coveting your neighbor's goat. Religion runs your calendar. Every feast, fast, and minor inconvenience is dictated by God, or at least by a priest named Reginald with gout and a grudge. You tithe 1/10 of your harvest. You confess things you didn't know were sins. You pray that the plague skips your house again. And if you miss Mass, Agnes will tell. Agnes always tells. Crime. In the Middle Ages? Oh, it happens. But justice? That's another story. Steal a loaf of bread. You could lose your hand. Gossip about a noble. You wear a spiked metal mask. The scold's bridle in public. Get accused of witchcraft. Hope you float in a river. If you sink, you were innocent. Oops, too late. Trials aren't about truth. They're about spectacle. Trial by fire. Trial by water. Trial by combat. Innocence means surviving a ridiculous ordeal. Public executions, entertainment for the whole family. Bring the kids, pack a turnip. The legal system is a mix of superstition, social rank, and he looked at me funny. If you're poor, justice hits harder. If you're rich, you just hit back. Congratulations. You're a woman in the Middle Ages. Your reward? Everything is your fault. You're expected to marry by 14, survive childbirth repeatedly, and never complain, or you're a witch. Education? Unlikely. Work? Constant. Your job is everything. Cook, clean, weave, fetch, nurse, obey. Oh, and smile. Widowed? You're vulnerable. Childless? You're suspicious. Too outspoken? You're dangerous. Midwives walk a fine line between healer and heretic. A woman who knows too much about herbs might be burned for knowing too much about herbs. Even in church, you're second class. You pray behind the men. Your worth is measured by modesty and fertility. So you learn to stay quiet, to endure, to survive. Because in the Middle Ages, the strongest women weren't loud. They were invisible. Think you're safe because you're a peasant and not a soldier? Cute. War doesn't care. Every few years, some lord somewhere decides he's owed land or vengeance or both. Armies march, villages burn, you and your family, collateral damage. Your home is raided, your crops stolen, your livestock slaughtered. If you're lucky, they leave you alive. If not, they assume you're part of the enemy because you look nervous. Spoiler, everyone looks nervous. And if you are conscripted, expect a wooden spear, a rusty helmet, and a prayer. Chainmails for knights. You get thick wool and blind hope. Battlefields are chaos. Screams, mud, blood, and fire. Most soldiers don't die in battle. They die after, from wounds, infections, or drinking out of the wrong puddle. War isn't glory, it's terror on repeat. But nobles had it easy. Sure, if you like gout, politics, and arranged marriages, your castle is freezing. The stone sweats. The tapestries can't stop the wind that whistles through every gap. Your fireplace smokes more than it heats. You're rich in land, but poor in comfort. Food's better, but barely. You eat spoiled meat masked with spices and wine. Your servants spit in your stew. You drink all day because everyone does. It doesn't help. Every marriage is a deal and property, titles, heirs. Love, not part of the plan. Affairs, common. Poisonings, also common. You write letters in Latin, plot revenge, and sleep with a dagger. Because even among the powerful, trust is extinct. You've survived famine, plague, childbirth, war, and taxes. Congrats. You're 42, a walking miracle. Your back bends, your joints pop. You're missing half your teeth. You can't see well, and your hearing's gone with the wind. But you're still working. Retirement doesn't exist. There's no pension, no golden years, just more chores, more pain, and more loss. Your friends? Most are dead. Your children? If they lived, they've moved into their own dirt huts. The village calls you wise. Translation: you smell like smoke and have a limp. Eventually, you die in your sleep. If you're lucky. If not, fever, gangrene, or an infection from stepping on a nail does the job. Your body is buried in a shallow grave. No marker. Just a pile of rocks. The priest says a few words. Maybe. The cycle continues. Another baby cries. Another life begins. Good luck, little one.
Night in the Middle Ages isn't peaceful. It's paranoid. People believe in witches, demons, elves, werewolves, and dead relatives who wander the forest at dusk. Every creak is a ghost. Every chill, a curse. You don't go outside after sunset. If you do, bring iron charms, a cross, and maybe a friend you don't like that much, just in case something needs a snack. Doors are barred. Herbs hang above thresholds. Cats are both feared and worshipped. If yours goes missing during a full moon, assume she got blamed for someone's crop failure. Sleep doesn't come easy. You whisper prayers and dream of omens, all bad. Because in the medieval mind, the dark is never empty.
You're thirsty. There's a river. Looks clean. Isn't. Upstream, someone dumped a buckets of feces. Or a corpse, or both. Water in the Middle Ages is the fastest route to a horrible, screaming death. People drink ale. Even toddlers. Not for fun, for survival. Small beer's weak, but at least it's boiled. Wine if you're rich. Rainwater if you like bird poop. Washing? Rare. Bathhouses exist until the church shuts them down for being morally questionable. You want a bath? Boil water. Pour it in a leaky wooden tub. Don't slip. Personal hygiene is a myth. Teeth are neglected. Skin is flaking. Hair is a habitat. You're not clean. You're just less dirty than yesterday. The past has a PR problem. We dress it up in stories, knights, dragons, feast, honor. But the truth? The Middle Ages were cruel, not magically brutal, just regular, relentless misery. Poverty wasn't quaint, disease wasn't character building, death wasn't poetic. There was beauty, yes, art, music, devotion, moments of joy, but they were sparks in the dark, not the fire itself. Modern life isn't perfect, but it is miraculous. So next time your phone dies or the Wi-Fi lags, don't wish for simpler times, because simple meant suffering. And the worst part? No escape, no change, just another day in the dirt, hoping you don't catch the wrong cough at the wrong time. You wake up. The air smells clean. Your pillow is soft. There are walls, insulation, glass windows, even running water. You smile because no one's sleeping beside a goat. And for that, you are blessed.